Let me begin by welcoming all of you to this session on effective leadership of think tanks. My name is Samar Verma. I am the Think Tank Initiative Program Officer for South Asia, which will soon become the Asia office, based in New Delhi. And with a very eminent cast of panelists, I am delighted to welcome all of you. Thank you very much for coming. I just wanted to begin by sharing with you a story about a fish. You might have heard about of the name of the fish, which is called Nemo. And there was a film called Finding Nemo. I don't know if many of you have seen that film or not. It's about a small fish, which is a very colorful, lovely orange and blue fish, which is in particular scene of a film that I'm referring to, Finding Nemo. That fish is, has a long emotional journey. It gets separated from its father, and then towards the end of the film, there's a reunion of that small Nemo with her father. And just when it's happening somewhere in the north of Atlantic, of Australia, in the oceans, there's a big ship, big trawler that comes. It casts its fishing net, and all the fish, including Nemo, get trapped into a fish net. There's a big, large pool of fish that gets trapped. So they're all now being dragged by this big trawler towards the coast. And suddenly, Nemo's father has an idea. And he screams at all the fishes and asks them, "Come on, all of you, start together swimming downwards. All of you together start swimming downwards." Now what happens as a result is, thankfully, unlike some think tanks, all of them listen to this leader, and they all decide to swim downwards. As a result of which, what happens is the big fishing net begins to feel the pressure of the fish trying to pull the fishing net in the opposite direction of the movement of the ship. Finally, the fishing net breaks, and obviously therefore all the fish are killed. Now, why do I share this? I share this because there are some very interesting parallels that I drew from whatever I think all of us have heard about leadership, whether it was from Minister Trevor Manuel or whether it was in the policy influence discussions today, about how leadership is at the heart of policy influencing. And what aspect of leadership we learned from the 12 case studies that we had done for policy influencing, which was discussed in the morning plenary session today. What is that aspect of leadership which we learned from these 12 case studies? The aspect of that leadership was how leaders are able to mobilize a group of people, create a constituency for change, who then work together in a coordinated manner towards a commonly agreed and clearly specified vision. And I think that's what Nemo's father did, and that's what the fish together did to finally move into a direction and make themselves free. There's a very strong parallel here. Now that obviously is just one aspect of leadership. There's another reason why I share this story. And that reason is very practical. It is to do with the session that we are having, which is, when we open up the conversations, and this is a request also to the resource people, we want the conversations and discussions to be like this story. Your real life experience of how you have seen leadership unfolding in organizations, how you, in your respective capacities in think tanks, have actually demonstrated leadership in situations which you identified required leadership to be demonstrated. So we would be very keen for the conversations in this session to be very, very practical. Share your experiences, share your learnings. Please do not limit yourself only to sharing the top ideas and the dimensions of leadership. I think that's something which we already know. So let's try and go one step forward. Let's learn from each other's learnings and experiences on how we have gone ahead and managed situations which have required ordinary people to do extraordinary things. And with that, I just wanted to introduce my panelists here. You might recall I began by saying that it's a very eminent and a very appropriate panel, and I'll very shortly tell you why. Let me quickly introduce my panelists. I have Mr. Nicolás Ducoté, and I hope you don't mind me addressing you as Minister, because there's a specific purpose in this session where I want to emphasize that the specific role that you bring in and a perspective that you bring in as a Minister and as somebody who currently is an Undersecretary Political Affairs in the government of the city of Buenos Aires. But prior to this, he was the co-founder and executive director of one of the leading think tanks for Argentina and Latin America, which is, as some of you would know, Center for the Implementation of Public Policies for Equity and Growth. He has also held the posts of the director of the National School of Government, Director of Center for International Cooperation in Public Administration, Board Member of the National Institute of Public Administration, been an international consultant for the United Nations, Transparency International, Inter-American Development Bank, World Economic Forum, World Bank. He has written numerous articles, lots of publications on public policy in the Argentine national media, and has 5 internationally published papers. He holds a master's in public policy from the JFK School of Government from the Harvard University. So Minister Ducoté, I am going to request you to bring your perspectives both from the supplier of research that you have been as a think tank head, as a founding member, but also as a demander of research, which I'm sure currently you would be. So thank you very much and very welcome. I have Soal. She is a consultant and associate practitioner with the Community Development Resource Association based here in Cape Town. She provides consulting to organizations, associations of people and individuals working in community and in government, assisting to strengthen initiatives towards more engaged citizenship and more effective governance. Her work includes organizational process consultancy, evaluation, but very relevantly, leadership development is something that she has provided a lot of advice and consultancy to large number of organizations. Again, very relevant, she is interested in the doing of development and organizational change and has written and published very widely. Most of her publications, probably all of it, is available on the website of the organization that she represents. So I'm going to turn to you, Sue, for bringing in a perspective of, what are the common themes that you might have seen when you work across large number of organizations, particularly on, strengthening their leadership. And finally, I have the pleasure of introducing Dr. Hans Gutbrod. He is currently the regional director of the Caucasus Research Resource Centers, which is the largest research organization in the South Caucasus, with offices in Azerbaijan, Armenia, and Georgia. At CRRC, Hans has led dozens of research projects and also oversaw the largest annual coordinated survey in the region, which is called the Caucasus Barometer. He has worked with over 30 donors and partners, including the Open Society Institute, the European Commission, USAID, and endless list, including UNDP, World Bank, etc. He holds his PhD in International Relations from the London School of Economics, and originally from Germany. He's the author of a handbook for professional communication. And over and above this, I also wanted to share with you, as you already know, he's the incoming program manager for Think Tank Initiative. And I'm going to be very cautious for very obvious reasons, because he's going to be my boss. So if you see me getting promoted, then I've obviously done a great job here. So with this, just to kind of bring you back to the process, what we intend to do over the next 2 hours, we want to make sure that we don't give you too much time to lie back and relax. So why don't we actually begin with this? This is just the way we thought we could organize the session. But to quickly tell you, there are 2 parts to this conversation, with the objective being we want to understand what are the key characteristics of leadership that we think are really important, really crucial in the context of think tank institutions. And the second set of questions is around, once we understand those characteristics of leadership, how have we seen or how have we delivered those aspects of leadership in our respective work situations in the recent past or in previous experiences, including in particular the kind of risks that we might have taken as in those situations, and how some of them might have yielded very positive returns, but equally sometimes things have not worked the way we wanted them to work, and what is it that we have learned out of that? How have we ensured that the learnings from not only successes but also sometimes not so successful experiences are institutionally learned in the organization? So these are the kind of two broad sets of questions. For the first set, which is what are the key characteristics of leadership, what I propose is that we have 4 tables, but I think we can actually reorganize ourselves into 3 tables.